it, one may forget. If you quit using your language while you're still a young child, chances are you will forget almost all of it. But adults who quit using their own language because they have moved to another country will eventually forget one of the original language. It may get more and more difficult to remember certain words or to speak the language fluently without pausing to think how to say something. Secondly, there are several situations that can affect people's ability to communicate and all have one thing in common, which is related to the environment and the people with whom they interact. For example, if a person is raised in a jungle, him or her communication skills will be weaker to those of a person living in a human community. Communication skills is not loosely determined by personality. It is also affected by the choices we have learned to make by watching others, parental influence, and a variety of life experiences. Finally, these people must face a number of issues when interacting with other people. The reason is that they cannot use their voice to express their sentiments. As a result, they must transition to a new mode of communication that makes use of gesticulated movements. On the other hand, just a few people in our community are proficient in sign language, so they find it too hard to interact normally with other people. That's it.
Okay, thank you. So, do you have any questions for her? Hello mọi người.
Ê, tôi nghĩ là lấy mấy cái câu hỏi mà thầy đưa ra cho nhóm bên bả luôn đi á. Mấy câu mà thầy liệt kê luôn á, cho dễ.
Mấy bạn một á, bây giờ hỏi câu hỏi số 1 đi.
So, do you think that Vietnamese people have a lot of struggles with learning a new language?
Tôi số 1 cho nên tôi trả lời luôn nha. There is not one single version of English because English is spoken in many countries of the world and the people in this country may pronounce the same word in different ways. This can be very confusing to Vietnamese when trying to speak English. And another difficult thing when Vietnamese learning English is forgetting the final sound. In the Vietnamese, the final consonant of a word are nasal or limited to a vowel stop. This is quite one of the common problems Vietnamese face when trying to speak English is not pronouncing the final sound of the words. That's all my answer.
So how does language affect who we are?
Câu số 1 luôn. Okay. More than words, language affects the way we think. Language isn't just a way to communicate, it's a component of culture that makes it unique and specific. When language and culture are discussed, the phrase language is culture and culture is language is often mentioned because the two are always intertwined. This means that the language we speak reflects what our values and beliefs are. Furthermore, language do not limit our ability to perceive the world or to think about the world, but they focus on perception, attention, and thought to specific aspect of the word.
So we move to topic 3, okay? Do you have any questions more? Or we begin to the next group? Hello? Vậy mình bắt đầu nhóm mới nha mọi người. Hay là các bạn có câu hỏi nào nữa không?
Qua nhóm mới đi.
Okay, so topic 3, Hồng Vân.
Okay, so my topic is people sometimes deceive their mind with their eyes. Recently, it's easy for us to see the illusion happening in our life. So that's why sometimes we deceive our minds with our eyes. So to understand more about why we are deceived, I will talk about the definition and characteristics, also to give some example for you to understand more about the type of deception. A visual or optical illusion is something that isn't real, but it may look real, but it actually fake. It is something that's deceived by producing a false or misleading impression of reality. It shows us that our mind tend to make assumptions about the world, and what you see is often not true. The deception are just the case of errors in judgment. They do not like it's not physical exist, but our eyes capture the light from an object or an image that emits or reflect the light, and then it focus the image upon the retina, where the message or the image can carry out into our brain. The retina is found at the back of our eyes and its constant cell that respond to the light. For example, hovering ship is a phenomenon of deceptive vision. When I watch it in some videos and images on the internet, I feel so surprised and I wonder where it's from and is it real? Actually, it's a phenomenon of mirage related to the effect of the temperature of the light and it makes a reflection of the real object with a higher precision. That's so interesting. Active deception involves the intentionally providing inaccurate or false information to the subject. For example, a researcher who might present the participant with an incorrect correlation between the gender or the performance in different academic subject area before the testing, whether such statistics affect the subsequent performance on different achievement tests or something like that. On the other hand, passive deception involves holding information or incomplete disclosure of information with the intention of misleading subject about research purpose or produced. For example, in research, sometimes they conduct a study involving converse research, such as a stage experiment in a public place, but subjects are unaware that they are participating in the research studies. So, in short, the illusion is something that is unreal, and in our mind, it tends to make assumption about the world, and what we think and what we see often is not the truth. Thank you.
Okay. So can you explain your experience with the survey levels of information.
Okay. It is a real experience when my teacher, Mr. King, showed me a picture about something like at first I see the picture is the face of an old woman, but and then many people said that is the picture of a young girl. So I at first I just say the old woman, but then when people said that I look inner or I look deeper to them. So I also see the girls, and so the both image is exists in the same picture. That is one of the deceptive vision.
Uh-huh. And others.
Can you say it again?
So I have another question. How knowledge from the first field can help people in the other field?
Okay. The knowledge about the deception is used in many fields nowadays, like in fashion, or people benefit from the color that make the better clothes and make the person who wear that clothes look different. Just like wearing a solid color for its minimizing purpose. The properties of the field extend mean that the horizontal drive will actually make you look taller, or the horizontal drive can help to emphasize your curve.
Thank you.
Okay, so now topic 5, Ngân.
Yes,
Okay,
I'm here.
so are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, let's go.
Okay. Unit 5, Environmental Psychology, focus on the transaction between individual and their surroundings. It seems the way in which the natural environment and our built environment shape us as individuals. In other words, environmental psychology is all about the interplay between people and their environment. Why our environment impacts us and how can we leverage that knowledge to our advantage, and what we can do to improve our relationship with the world around us. How well we work is very depend on the surrounding around us. And the most destructive sound of all the human voice. It makes us less sociable, less helpful, and less approachable if we are in noisy setting, and impacts on concentration and how comfortable we feel. People feel more secure when they are on their territory. The elements such as the amount, distribution, and shape of interior spaces significantly impact people's mental health. When people can control their personal space, they are more comfortable and satisfied. However, when their personal space is intruded on, they easily become anxious and frustrated. The different territories have different psychological needs. For example, people tend to concentrate on their home more important their workplace, which is more important than their co-worker workplace. Beside the elements, I think that color also affects human behaviors. For instance, brighter spaces are also perceived as being larger and less crowded than darker spaces of the same size and shape. Therefore, people in brighter spaces will be happier and more comfortable than people in dark spaces. To sum up, the interrelationship between human behavior and environmental psychology are closely related and interconnected, and they interact and influence each other. A well-considered and designed space is an essential component of our everyday life. So that's all.
So I have a question. How do people individualize their personal spaces?
I think personal space refers to the physical areas surrounding on individual that is considered personal or private. Typically, when another person intrudes in this area, the individual experiences discomfort. There are some ways for people to make personal space. Firstly, identify and accept their personal boundary needs. For example, they can decorate their own spaces with their favorite items, such as books or their collections. Moreover, explaining why they need more space. For example, if they are left-handed and the person is too close to their left side, they can comment on how they need the space to take notes. For example, in addition, they can tell others how to protect their boundaries and respect their personal space of others. I think those ways will help them feel more comfortable in their zone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we move to the next topic. Okay. Are we have any questions? Okay, so now topic 6. This one is has two members, that I am and Thiben. So Thiben, do you want to start first?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Okay, with my topic is innovation or new ideas. So what is the new ideas? New ideas as a concept refers to a process that an individual or organization undertakes to conceptualize brand new products, processes, and ideas, or to approach existing product, processes, and ideas in a new way. In business, innovation is seen as the application of better solutions that meet new requirements, unproven needs, or existing market needs. Innovation occurs through the delivery of a more efficient product, process, service, technology, or business model delivered to a market or to society. For the conditions, in my opinion, there are two types of conditions, external and internal one. The external conditions are consumer demands. For example, BTS with BTS Hunter provide local sneaker products for attracting Vietnamese youngsters with varied models and campaigns about culture and lifestyle. Another external condition is the support from public policies. For example, like the mRNA type of COVID-19 vaccine. And the third one is the improvement of technology. For instance, we create 3D printing to make things like building, designing less complicated and time-consuming. However, we cannot do all of this if we don't have certain technology improvements. For internal conditions, I think it's people. Is the environment for people to be creative, for creating innovations, we can set it. We need to have passion on our subject. We need to have a team of diverse people with different angles and feelings about our work. We need to have enough energy to motivate our team to brainstorm new ideas. We also need to have a space or freedom for them to be flexible, to be creative. And finally, we need to dare to do new things. I have an example about this condition, the innovation of Khoa học trò, that is the magazine for teenagers. They changed their own products to the new modern style by changing their workplace, changing the attitude of the employee, ignoring the negative feedback, just making their ideas happen, and then they can change the audience perspectives. We cannot be innovative while we still keep the old mindset as we had before. So to create solutions, we need to make creative thinking and understand clearly what our decision will become. The problem-solving process has to be a logical process, and creativity should come along with it. In my opinion, to make possible solution is that we firstly identify the problem, the demand, and gather information about the problem, like how it affects or why and when did it happen, and then we clarify it for developing inventions. After that, we should test the risk and the possibilities of our inventions. Finally, we apply the solution to the problems. In my opinion, innovations have been good, but when used badly, they have surely affected human lives in the worst way possible. You can look at atom bomb, the one innovation that changed the world forever, that changed the lives of 2 cities and millions of its people forever. The generations to come have suffered because of that one innovation. Then there are cigarettes. There is no one thing good about cigarette, and yet people are addicted to it, affecting the lives and people around them. Also, gunpowder. Millions of people are dying because of it. So, in sum up, innovation is good, but just good when we use it in the right way. That's all my topic.
Okay, so now let's move on to my part. So innovation is a process by which a demand, a product, or a service is renewed and updated by applying new processes, introducing new techniques, or establishing successful ideas to create new value. So we inherently got used to the things that are already there, right? But when new things or action happen that we haven't foreseen, we immediately need to innovate to adapt to it. For example, in the early 90s, phones were still very sketchy, only used for calling and texting. But today, because of the increasing both needs of people and modern life, they are forced to change their phones into an artificial brain with many convenient functions, such as watching videos, reading newspapers, taking photos, calling FaceTime for free over the internet. So, what reasons make people have to innovate? Can one of you answer my question? So what reasons make people have to innovate? What do you think?
Is the human needs?
The human needs, and beside that, time faster and faster elapses. So the society incessantly upgrades through human intelligence as well as the old methods, and not very effective that make people change to match the current trend. So therefore, our life has been apparently two trends of innovation, that's like and dislike. For the first one, people see the new that brings them more positive, lively, and successful. So let me talk more specifically. Um, Currently, TikTok is trending because its videos are short as well as save time to watch. Consequently, it has a lot of very effective cooking videos based on changing the long clip into the short one. So now let's move on to the last one for people who are loyal to their own mind. They do not want to change because they are used to watching long videos that analyze the instructions more clearly. Follow them. So, moreover, they get used to the old way and assume innovation is more complicated for them. Besides that, producing new machinery and equipment to save labor, time, and money compared to old technologies and handmade products. So, for instance, typewriters will be improved into telephones as well as calculators. So, with many illustrations, is innovation more effective than non-innovation in the 4.0 era? So it's time for those who don't innovate. They should rethink the reality of the development trend of this era and the success of those who accept innovation. So the slogan of our groups is let your thoughts fly high. And that's all about my presentation. So do you have any questions for me and Eben?